Super Rugby, round number 11, folks. Back in New Zealand, managed to sit down and watch some of the rugby this weekend, which was pretty pleasing from a New Zealand perspective, all but the Crusaders getting wins. Aussie team's not quite so fortunate, but a historic one for the Reds down in Christchurch, and the Brumbies still going pretty strong with the results pretty quickly, the standings, and the upcoming fixtures. You guys can let us know your thoughts on how things are going in what for mine is a pretty interesting and unpredictable Super Rugby season. Hurricanes 41-12, bit of a hiding over the Tars in Wellington. That one was kind of to be expected, no massive surprises there. Billy Proctor's looking in bloody good form. Is it enough form to get him in a black jersey? We'll have to wait and see. Cameron, Morby, Yose, Riasi all got on the board, and TJ Perenara extended his run in terms of Super Rugby try scoring to put him at the top of that log with his try at the death. Lakai made 17 tackles on defence as well, so not just about the try scorers, but I mean 14 clean breaks, 41 defenders beaten. They were just cutting the Tars to bits at times. A couple of consolation tries for the Tars in the second half. At least they weren't kept scoreless, which it was looking possible in the first half, and Ward made 20 tackles in a defensive shift. But yeah, the Tars season is looking pretty tough. Apart from the Crusaders, they can't beat anybody. Second game, pretty similar story. Kiwi team up against Aussie team. Pretty high scoreline, 38-11. So very, very similar scoreline, albeit with the kind of home and away parts reversed. Blues 38, Rebels 11. They did get one through Lowrans in the first half, the Rebels, but second half, the Blues piled on some points, especially when Sam Darry, of all people, is getting a double. 2 tries in kind of 5 minutes towards the end of the game. That's pretty brutal. Talea got a couple. PJ Sheck got one on debut, so congratulations to him. That's a heck of a way to start your Blues career. And Tuipulotu as well. I mean, Talea, in terms of stats, 142 run meters, 8 defenders beaten. Yeah, big shift from the Blues in the second half. Josh Canham made 20 tackles for the Rebels in a losing effort. But yeah, as I said, both those results in the Friday games pretty similar. So encouraging for the two top sides, 1 and 2 on the log. Less so for the two Aussie sides, although the Rebels are at least still kind of in that playoff position at the minute. Saturday game starts off in Tonga in the rain. Goodness gracious me. Apparently there was a big turn in the weather like a day or two before. It had been hot and humid, but the skies opened for the first ever Moana Pacifica match hosted in Tonga. And Moana Pacifica couldn't get that one done. They go down to the Highlanders 28-17. The Moana Pacifica lads probably could have used a home win there just to boost their chances of making the top 8, whereas the Highlanders were in a kind of similar situation. So for them, a much needed win, 28-17, they get that done. Rotu Maitavuki-Nipkins continues his cracking run since moving down to Dunedin. 2 tries for him. Connor Garden-Bishop has a great finish to get one, but really impressive was Cam Miller at 10, pulling the strings. Remember, Reece Patchell was out, injured, so yeah, I thought Cam Miller looked really confident for a pretty young fella, so good to see. Paulie and William Harville get tries for Moana Pacifica in the rain, but yeah, cracking atmosphere, cracking crowd. Just shame for those guys, not the result, but bad news for them is great news for the Highlanders. Maybe the game of the round in terms of the result, especially seeing it's the first time the Reds have won down in Canterbury since 1999. What were you doing in 1999? Was I still in... I think I was still in school. Yeah, I was still in school. Easily still in school. I was still in school for years. What am I thinking? I was still a young lad. Relatively young. 1999. Yeah, I was still in school. Still in high school. Not that young. But yeah, 28 to the Crusaders, 33 to the Reds. Historic, man. And David Havili with the razor push to select him at 10. Maybe didn't end that well when he gets charged down by Harry Wilson for a try, which is the final try for the Reds, which sees them take the lead again after things had all been locked up. But yeah, Crusaders' run is still kind of poor thus far this season, even though they were... they've been slowly getting kind of some reinforcements back. Halfpenny was able to get on the field for this one for the Crusaders, which was pleasing, although they did lose Ethan Blackadder late on in terms of before kickoff, but late after he'd been named initially. So Yeah, still a bit of disruptions for them. Stephen Reese continues to score tries, though. He gets one. Kello gets one. Stranger gets one. And McLeod, so 4 tries for the Crusaders. And Almoa busted a bunch of tackles in this game, which was pleasing because it's been kind of a rocky start to since his move from Moana Pacifica. McCright, Tumunga Allen, and Wilson get 3 of the tries for the Reds. But that man, Tim Ryan, he's having a heck of a start to his rugby career. 2 tries for him. I know it's real early, like we're only talking a couple of games, but he looks like a proper player from what we've seen of him thus far. So yeah, man, historic win for the Reds. Like I said, the question at 10 will remain for the Crusaders, whether they double down and go with Havili again at some point, but they are running out of games. They're still not out of playoffs contention just yet, though. CHIvFOR was a bit of a lopsided one, 56-7. Not really much to talk about there. I mean, DMAC went off, kind of injured. I think it was concussion for him, potentially. I forget because I'm still a bit jet lagged, but I think that one might have been the mouth guard that kind of flagged him to come off, but that's maybe one bit of bad news and otherwise pretty good day at the office. Narawa got a try. Rona got 3 tries when he's playing on the wing this week. Vai, Slater, Thompson, DMAC, Ioane, a bunch of tries. The Force got 1 in return, but goodness gracious me. Yeah, pretty lopsided one, sadly, for the Force boys. And then the last one was maybe a little bit closer than expected, 28-20. The Brumbies getting the job done over the Drua. Forwards did pretty well. Reimer, his try was kind of the one that finished things off at the end, but also Alalatoa, Ikitau got tries as well. Ikitau got a double. Nasila Sila and CRUvRED got tries for the Drua. They also had one that was kind of like an almost try, but not quite, lost over the line. So, yeah, a few mauls in this game. A lot more kicking from the Brumbies than from the Drua, which is kind of par for the course. Masi still busts tackles. He managed 8. But, yeah, Brumbies keep kind of ticking along with that win. So, yeah, in terms of the log, top 8 is Hurricanes, Blues, Brumbies, Chiefs in the top 4. Then Reds, Rebels, Highlanders, Drua just hanging on there to that 8th spot. The Drua are on 17 points. Moana Pacifica are 3 points behind them on 14. And the Crusaders are on 13 because the Crusaders, despite only having 2 wins, have picked up a fair few bonus points thus far. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy. The Crusaders have got 2 wins from 10 games and are only 1 win potentially from overtaking the likes of the Drua. So, yeah, we'll have to kind of wait and see how things play out. But, yeah, that's the way it works when you got 8 teams out of 12 that make the playoffs. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. There's only 1 point separating the Hurricanes and the Blues at the top of the log. And guess what? They're playing each other next week. Blues host the Hurricanes in the Saturday games. First game is Moana Pacifica Chiefs. One would assume Chiefs are pretty big favourites for that one. Reds, Rebels should be a pretty good game. Both those sides have the same kind of 5-5 records, or the Reds' recent form is probably a touch better than the Rebels. Blues, Hurricanes, like I mentioned, top of the table clash, probably the game to watch of the week. Highlanders, Crusaders will be a battle of the 2 teams down south, and with the Hurricanes, Highlanders currently in the playoff spots, a home win would certainly help boost their kind of push to stay in the 8 because they are in 7th at the minute. Waratahs, Brumbies, one would assume Brumbies are favourites, and then Force, Drua. Both sides are pretty desperate. And Force are at the bottom of the log, but the Force will be hosting the Drua for that one, so they'll see if they can kind of make their way off the foot of the table with a win. But yeah, like I said, pretty interesting season thus far. I mentioned the other day that the viewing numbers here in New Zealand are up 11%. So that's a bit of a boost to the competition. We'll have to see how things play out in the final few rounds as we head into the playoffs. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts. Who do you reckon's winning next week between the Blues and the Hurricanes? Can you see the Crusaders sneaking their way into the playoffs? Do you see either of the Pacific teams managing to kind of get through? The Drua are in at the moment, kind of by the skin of their teeth. And the Moana Pacifica boys are just out of it, but certainly not that far away. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.